Farokh, welcome to Mint Season 7, baby. Let's go. Thank you for being on.
Yo. Season 7, lucky number.
Lucky number.
I'm on September 7th, so it's been my number. I like that. I like it. It's meant to be.
I think this is what's meant to be, actually, because numbers just line up, energies line up, and I'm glad to have you here. The whole theme for Season 7 is all about Web3 media and crypto native content creators. You might know a thing or two about that. I don't know.
Maybe. We'll see throughout the show. Well, I'm not sure. I'm trying to value as much as I can, you know?
I think a good place to start, Farokh, for those who don't know you from my audience, just give a quick teaser about yourself, Rug Radio, and all the good stuff that you do.
Yeah, I mean, my name is Farokh Sarmad, 28-year-old entrepreneur. I started a decentralized Web3 media ecosystem called Rug Radio last year. Actually, yesterday, a year ago, was when December 22nd, 2021 is when our membership pass was a free to mint, free claim. It was a year ago. So we launched Rug Radio and also host of the GM Web3 morning show on Rug Radio and founder. And so we do a lot. I'm sure we're going to talk about this right now. But my background, extensively social media. I've been doing this for as long as I can remember. I'm 28 now. So I've been really doing it seriously since I'm 17. But as for fun, when I was a kid, like always on it, I'm really an internet kid. And then, found the love for passion for NFTs and blockchain, and I just dove deep in February 2021, and I never looked back. So that's the very long story short.
What is your first memory of the internet?
When I lived in Montreal, so we first moved in Montreal. I'm born in Paris. We moved in 94. We moved in 98 for 1 year. And we were first moving, I was like 4 or 5 and had one of those dial-up computers type thing. I guess that's one of my first memories-ish, but flashing. I've never been asked this question. Wow. So flashing, and then a little later, around that age, just trying those big things. You have those desks, and you have the put up thing, and like the disc.
Yeah.
So first memories would be around that, I think.
So what? You couldn't use the internet and call on the phone at the same time?
Yeah, things like that. Like it was. Okay. I never really understood it at the time, and I still don't.
Damn,
but
that's OG.
That's around then, I think. Make me feel old, but I'm 28. I'm like a child.
So were you a Facebook kid though, or an Instagram?
Yeah.
An Instagram
no,
king?
Facebook. When 2012, when Facebook came out, is when I was like, fuck. So 2012, no, earlier in 2012. So for 2008, I was 12. So that's what I meant. I was 12 years old. Facebook came out. So 2006. And I remember I had to lie about my age. So Facebook still thinks I'm 91. I'm 91 instead of 92 instead of 94 because I had to say I was over the age. No, I put 93 instead of 94 to show I was like 13 on 12.
Right.
And remember the is status that was blocked. There was no DMs. It was just the wall. It was Farokh is something and like whatever. And so, yeah, I was a Facebook kid. I started early meme pages on Facebook at 13, 14 years old. I had my high school's meme page that was called CMF Memes. Every school had their meme pages, and I had to run it honestly all year. Out of 800 students, I had 800 likes. Likes were followers back then on the thing. It was called followers, called likes. And then 2014 November is when I saw Instagram. I was like, bang, all in. And I did that for 8 years straight on IG, built a huge network on there. But I was Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. No, Facebook, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, 2020 Clubhouse, Twitter again to now.
What was high school Farokh like?
I mean, I went to like this like strict French like school here in Montreal. It's like French system from like the French government. So I was that kid that like I actually had good grades ish, and my Persian mom was very strict. You know what I mean? Like, you already know. Bro, I was in law school. I dropped out. Imagine it fucking devastating for my mom. But it's high school me is just like I don't know. I was just like very like I think I've been the same since ever. Like from the stories I'm hearing as a kid, as a child, as a baby, even my mom tells me like I think I've always been the same. So like very energetic, very like always happy and shit. And then but also like. I had like good grades-ish, but I was also really like I used to talk a lot in class. I used to get booted out of class like the most out of everyone.
Oh, really?
Go figure. But it's that's high school me. But it was cool. I was a kid trying to become class press, like help other people out. I started the first ever strike in the history of my school since 1926. Yeah, they kicked out a kid for no reason out of school. It was very strict, and I thought it was unfair. And I started a group on Facebook. We went on strike for when they refused to take our math books out of the thing. And then next thing like fucking all the 3 principals of school, they want me in the fucking office and shit. But like, get down with the people. You already know. So,
the rebel. And I feel like that character also shows in the day-to-day of hosting Rug Radio, the GM show, and everything that you've sort of done leading up to where you are today. And every platform, or at least it seems like from an outsider's perspective, every platform that you've been on, you've managed to build a viral audience around, whether it be around your personal brand or even reflecting on the meme pages that you started. And I feel like there's something that you can take away from every single platform that you've sort of like built an audience around that you continuously use and create like feedback loops with. Share with me, what are those feedback loops, those lessons learned from the meme pages, the Instagram accounts, the Tumblr pages, the Twitter pages, Web3? Like, what is there any underlying theme between all those accounts?
That and that was what fascinated me day one.
Okay.
Is that from the tip of your thumbs, you have access to millions of people through a network from anywhere you want. And that's why I always show the phone. By the way, yeah, I know it's busted up, but there's a squiggle. It's pretty
The
cool.
squiggle, shout
This is what
out.
I'm saying here. But
Nice.
it's but that's always fascinated me, that no matter where you're from, what religion you practice, what your beliefs are, whatever. Like, I started luxury pages on Tumblr early on, and when I was 14, 17 years old, called Mr. Good Life and all that shit. I was really into, I had a passion for fine watches, architecture, nice cars. My mom said since I was a child, I used to always run after like Ferraris and stuff and nice cars, and I was obsessed with it. Collect Hot Wheels, watch F1, so I was always obsessed with it, and find craftsmanship. So I started a blog. The point being is, what struck me is that I learned throughout 3 years of doing this that I had followers, people from all over the world, that were following me and sending me messages, and no matter what they believed in, whether they fought between their countries, whatever, they would like the same things. And so what's always fascinating me with Web2 and social media is that it's the power to regroup millions and now hundreds of millions, not billions of people now onto social networks. Web3 just empowers them, and that we'll talk about Ruggiero later, I'm sure, but like there's ways to tap into that and like, empower people and creators and whatnot. But and these people, this network of people, so it's a layer on top, but still like it's a common theme. We gathered around my high school's Facebook page. We gathered around my Twitter, which was Montreal Problems. Remember all something problems? This city
Yes.
problem, New York problem. I ran Montreal Problems to 10K
Nice.
followers back in like 2013. Or like Middle Eastern problems, like shit like that. We used to find Persian problems, like, and I'm Persian, like, but it's and then like the luxury pages. And I started a network of like 15 pages on Instagram with 15 million followers. I went from 0 to 10 million followers in under 2 years on IG around luxury, love, life hacks, nature, travel, pets, like different channels, right? And so people were groups. So it was always this like it's now NFTs, Web3. When I saw it in February 18th, 2021, found out what an NFT was, I immediately got it because I had already been doing this for like 10, 12, 13 years, whatever it is. And I was like, but you're telling me that now it's this community on steroids because we all add to each other. And there's actually this like feeling that you can give and receive at the same time and build this togetherness, right? There's like something there. So that's what got me really early into the community, because I was like, I'm not a crypto OG, I'm an internet kid. I understand communities, my expertise. I've been doing it 10 years already. So now there's something I can build on, this layer on top of it.
Right.
That's what the block, and then I found out that this is what the blockchain is.
So on that path, okay, I like to break things down into model, and I'm trying to understand from your perspective how you see the equivalent of a Web2 follower in Web3. Is that reminiscent of a collector in your eyes?
In Web2, we're publishers, and in Web3, we're platforms.
Okay.
So we're all platforms. Every single network participant within the Rug Radio ecosystem is a platform. Whether you're a holder, whether you're a daily listener, participant, whether you're a creator, you're a platform. And that's the beautiful thing about the space. Artists, that's how we got it through art first, right? Artists are platforms, right? And so that's why Mindful, shout out to Richard and that team, they empower that they say you're all your own platform, meant on your own smart contract. Do this. You've seen it. Like they do their own thing.
Yeah.
You have ownership. It's like the ethos. It's like the core of our space. Now, when it comes to these followers per se, they're each different platforms, but also network participants, and they add to it. They're not just, you go from publisher to platform, but you also go from consumer to participant. I don't call our listeners on Rug Radio on our show and the people with Rug Radio NFTs consumers. I really call them participants, because each one of them together adds value to the show, which then adds value to the creator, then adds value to the show, then adds value to the network, which is Rug Radio's build, which then Rug Radio manages to properly bring that value back into to the participants and the creators of it. So it's just like that, but it starts from the
That's so
ground up,
cool.
right?
Got
Very
it.
grassroots. I've always had a very reverse engineering type of mentality, no matter what I did, even on Instagram. And I think that's how it works in this space also. really start
So
within.
So part of being a platform, I'm trying to understand, just refine that more because I talked about that concept a lot. Like wherever you go, your community follows, right? And there aren't any gated silos or walled gardens anymore. But from your perspective, as someone who's built like the media brand that you've built, the number of participants that you have around the brand, what are the benefits of being a platform that you sort of couldn't do with being a follower? Like break that down a little bit more.
I think it's like in terms of a network effect. Like as a follower, if you're just a follower, I feel like it's just there's not that like tie. That's like there's no special tie. There's not that bond. So some people like there's some people I choose to just be a follower of, but that's not the kind of people you want when you're building a brand or anything or a network you're trying to build or community or like a project or anything. You really want the type of people that are participants because they're going to take actions, they're going to help you in order to build what you're trying to do, but also it's going to help them back. There's like this two-way conversion here. There's this two-way street between you and the holder. Like the blockchain added a layer where people could just listen into my show or they could decide to buy the Rug Radio NFT and thus becoming an active network participant. And then not only do I get something out of it as a creator, but also as the network, so Rug Radio gets something out of it, but also you do, because you will get value added back out of being part of this community. And by value, I do not mean money, monetary. That's secondary, right? But the primary value is all the added things that you can provide to someone who participates within your ecosystem. And you probably see it. You have people who listen to your show, that participate. There's a listens count, shares, comments, people reaching out to you or helping you, your team. But there's difference between people who just follows you to just like follow you.
Got it. Yeah. So that brings me to my next question. Recognizing this shift in structure, this shift in attention, this shift in participation, that's what led you to start Rug Radio, or how did Rug Radio come into the picture? Because I remember you being super active on Clubhouse and like owning that stage, and then now Twitter Spaces came in and owned that stage too. So was it like the next obvious step to do this incredible brand, or walk me through that?
So like you said, so December 28th, 2020. So I'm almost closing in on 2 years of doing this every single day, literally every day, multiple times a day, some days. But December 20th, 2020, I found out what Clubhouse was, and I was peak quarantine in Montreal, Quebec, like Christmas time, you do nothing else. Just got obsessed with live social audio because I immediately understood the power, because I already understood the power of voice. But now you're telling me instead of video, image, whatever, people will value you for what you have in here and what you have to say, right? Not just smart things. If you're a singer, if you're a musician, creator, you're creative, like things, you know, that you can share. So I mean, I understand the live social audio power. So I decided that I would just like go all in on Clubhouse. And then 3 months in, I had already built like 75,000 followers on Clubhouse by February. I had the biggest like social media club called All Things Social Media, maybe 30, 40,000 members. I had the biggest NFT club that he called NFT. I was the first person to register the word NFT on Clubhouse. So like that probably has like 50, 70K. I have to go check back. I haven't looked since, but like, so I was hosting. So I was getting to this social media club, but then found out what NFT was one night, February 18th, 2021. In this Clubhouse room out of all places, which popped like Thank You X, Ferocious, Fuck Render, Victor Mascara, Tommy Kimmelman, Richard, all these legends like Corey Van Loo, Greg Mike, Lady Phoenix, on one stage. Like, and I was like, whoa, like what is this? How does it work? Blockchain, art, what NFT? What's an NFT? Like, I was like obsessed. Then that night, from midnight to 4 a.m., I asked all these questions. It clicked. I don't know how to like tell you in a more honest way. Like it just clicked. And that's why I say anyone who asks me, it's just like I understood the power of community. They say seize the meme of productions. I've understood memes because I've been creating the memes of production for 10 years. Right? I've been doing these memes since, the kid with the face, like the troll face, like the OG memes where it was just like writing on top, bottom, you tossed at it. You didn't used to, memes now are like, it's all sorts of memes, right? But like, memes like that, right? Like that kind of thing. And so, I was a creator of memes in a way, a distributor of memes. I understood always community building and had built millions, tens of millions of followers on other platforms before I've been doing this. And so I understood. And then all I had to do is had someone knock me and make me understand how blockchain adapts to this, how crypto and Web3 makes this better and amplifies it, right? And understood that night. Next thing you know, next day, I pretty much shut down my business. I was doing marketing and media marketing, and I was doing communication strategies on social platforms for 8 years, Good Life Media, and like I had the whole thing going on, 15 million followers, massive network. Like I shut down my client spent to zero, And I bought my first NFT 3 days after, December 21st, 2021, Micah Johnson, Aku Genesis, and I never looked back.
Wow.
And then in June of that year, I saw Twitter Spaces starting to take over. I was like, well, so I was always very good at adapting and changing. Like I'll quit a platform if I see it's running to the wall. I saw Tumblr die, I'm out. 2014 went to Instagram, all in. Wrote the Instagram, still killing it. Instagram is still very important, big, right? We can get to that, but like, anyways, saw Twitter, Clubhouse, boom. Saw Twitter, boom. So I went to Twitter, started doing the Spaces thing, just like on Clubhouse. And then on September 19th, 2021, I was hosting a 10-hour Twitter space, whatever, you know how we get down. And like, we're talking all things Web3, social media, with a conversation like this, 5e, like we're chilling, like 10 of us, 1,000 people in the audience, fucking crazy. It keeps rugging. I keep opening the Twitter space again. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna call this Rug Radio. It's like a radio show because I'm running 10 hours straight and people are listening to me, to this person, to that person, to this person, to that person. I was always very good at like, like maneuvering the stage. And then next thing you know, someone in my Discord, because I had started Discord 12 days earlier for my birthday, called House of Farokh. Someone was like, yo, I gotta go. Too bad I got back to my $11 an hour job tomorrow. I was like, fuck it. How can we create? You're telling me through all I've learned from blockchain last like since February to September. Like, so what's that? Like 9 months? What? 6 months? Like 8 months? What? 7 months? Anyway, right. Part of my math I just said I can't calculate, but and I was like, is there a way to create a media company as decentralized? So I want something decentralized since I was running DAOs, right? I'm like, I was very curious about DAOs, and I love DAOs personally. But is there a way to build a decentralized media ecosystem that we all collectively can add value to the network, and then we get value back from it, where people are rewarded to listening? Because people spend 10 hours just now with us. We were on the 10th hour. I'm like, people spend 10 hours with us listening. How can they get something out of it? Right? So they can educate, entertain themselves in Web3, because I genuinely think that this can change lives. And it has changed my life. It has changed your life, I'm sure. Don't want to assume, but it's changed a lot of lives around us. And so then came Rug Radio, and we went to a drawing board, and 2.5 months later, we launched a free membership pass, and then we sold the NFTs January 11th of this year, and everything you've seen in the last almost 12 months, we've been rocking and rolling.
Crazy. 12 months. Like, do you reflect on that? You're like, what the hell? That was only 12 months ago.
The only thing I've reflected on, actually. Last night I wrote a post late about being our 1 year since the free membership pass mint that I mint number one, then everybody started minting them. And I reflected on that 5:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, December 22nd last year. And it was a free mint. 90,000 individual people got to mint Rug Radio membership pass for free. And we managed to get 1-to-1 at first, on the very first launch. Then things went away. Yeah. We did that back then. Gas was like $500. I just checked. I paid $30 in gas for that membership pass way back then. So it was like we managed to get a low way and everything. So it was like fair launch, and it's crazy. Yeah, I do reflect on that this week. I did, and I will probably for the rest of the week coming. But it's crazy.
If you could sum up those 12 months into one single word, what would it be?
Chaos.
Okay, elaborate on that.
I'm gonna find the thread. I just actually, because I want to read from it, because I said it really well at the time. But I wrote a thread the other day about being a founder in the space, because I was actually starting my reflection, like you're saying. Right. And I said
you're like, don't do it if you can't take it. That's like the tone that the whole thread started with. Yeah, but there was so much other value in there. I want to hear. It
was meant to be a thread. It was meant to be one tweet. But then I was listening to like this James Brown Christmas album, and I was high, and I was jamming, and the lights were low, and I was like, I feel like I need to write. And I kept writing 3 tweets, 4 tweets, 7 tweets. I kept going until 16. But I said, there's something about the chaotic energy. At times, it can really take you down and make you feel like no matter how hard you try, you will never be able to make it. But the rest of the time, you realize you are at the forefront of something that can change the world. And so chaos in the way that this year we saw it all. We came in hot from 2020 and 2022. We were rich. We were launching things. We were fucking killing it. Our NFTs were worth whatever. ETH was 4K. And you know what I mean, though, that we were originally. Like,
the WAGMI energy. Yeah.
But by the way, I'm still a strong believer in it, right?
Absolutely.
People got that wrong. But then February came, all this stuff, bear market, my first cycle, my first bear personally. So obviously, for me personally, it's been a year of lessons, meaning I've seen all-time highs in money that I think could have changed my life of my family, girlfriend, everything, to like, whoa, wow. That's what they meant by like watching an unrealized net worth evaporate in a few days and weeks and months. So that while building, right? We launched Rug Radio January 11th, bro. So my year has literally been building this thing. January 11th is when we sold 19,000 NFTs at 0.11 each.
Crazy.
And then we kept 1,000 back. So we sold 2,100 ETH worth of NFTs. that day, and since then, I've spent every single day trying to like become better as a founder, learn the ropes and doing it properly, and also like being very having this like personality and public brand facing brand in space. You've probably seen it. You're part of the community. You
Sure.
see things,
Yeah.
good things, bad things. So it's like maneuvering everything in this year of growth. So this year of growth, I would say chaos, but also growing pains, which is but good and bad. And I
With,
wrote
with
about that too.
with that, I feel like there needs to be certain feedback loops that you continuously kind of like
Mhm.
you get feedback from essentially on how to improve things that you made mistakes on, where you can optimize, how you can delegate. What do your feedback loops look like? How did you
There's
put those
many.
systems into place?
There's many. So there's feedback loops from like people close to you, and you can gouge. You can. It's all about surrounding yourself by the right people. It's pretty tough. Hardest part.
Right.
But there's feedback loops from a community when you have a very large audience. So it's I usually see like within our own community, rug radio holders, people around. I'm pretty good at maneuvering like social platform like Twitter and like reading like how people the community sentiment and whatnot, how things are getting received and done and whatnot. I can see when something switches also like, oh, wait, people are catching on to this, this or that. And so, and then also on the market, I have an NFT out, obviously. So like you see it fluctuate on the price of your floor. But that's harder because of course, like people also control floors to buy lower or people control floor to wash trade on engagement farm tokens, farm tokens, like there's all these things, but there's many feedback loops in the space, which is amazing. That's the beautiful thing about a decentralized ecosystem is that feedback loops can come out of like so many different places. You just have to be good at like understanding the signals and like knowing and accepting when to have to change something, accepting you don't know something, and understanding where to take it next. I think it's important. Like there was a point in July 26th. You see, I'm pretty good with my dates because I just remember days. Like
No
July.
numbers, but dates.
Exactly, exactly. In class, there's a reason why I always had incredible grades in history class, but not in math.
Right. Jeez.
But true story. But it's the July 26th of this year was our lowest point where Rugby was 0.09 ETH floor under mint for the first time ever. That lasted about an hour. First time ever. The biggest punch in my face you could ever give me is that. There's no personal punching in the face. I don't give a shit. I can get back from all the FUD, whatever it is, because I just work hard and focus. But professionally, I was like, wow, like that's not who I am. The fuck?
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like, yo, fuck this. Dead ass. Like, and so I turned the whole thing around, brought on the right people, 180 the company, and we went up 500% over this what terrible bear
Wow.
market to today. And now you're seeing all the good stuff happening with Rug Radio, but that's comes from like understanding feedback from the market, holders, community, broader Twitter ecosystem that they don't like how whether you're acting, behaving, responding to things, working, delivering, and accepting that and being able to like become better.
So in that period, then what did you do more of and what did you do less of? How did you restructure?
More bringing people that will actually help and surrounding yourself by people who actually add value, like direct.
Right.
Less focusing on the bullshit, the other way to put it, like on like the low hanging fruit stuff, like less focusing on trading and trying to mint and buy NFTs and this and that, because no matter even if I have good intentions, people will try and make it look a
Right.
certain way. That's unfair and not true for the most part. I genuinely mean that. And less bickering and fighting over small things and more focusing on like Mando sat me down pretty much one day. Not sat me down, but like he like DM me. Like what's up, what's up? We're best friends. We talk every day. I was on the phone with him until like 5 minutes coming in here.
Okay.
And like I was like, bro, because I called him on July 26th. I said, I need help. Can you come help me? Him, Loxley, and Mike Kriak, and Keith Grossman. I called them all. I said, I need help. I hit a wall. I'm a solo founder. I don't know where to go with this right now. I have an idea. I have a beautiful idea. I have insane creativity. I know this could become the biggest fucking thing in the space, but I need help. And they came in. But Mando came and said, yo, you have the chance, the opportunity to build $1 billion brand here, right? And something big. And he said in this terms, he said, do you want to focus on the short term bullshit little things, or do you want to build something that's literally going to be the biggest thing? And I was like, that. And I knew that. But it was maybe good for someone to come and say, yo, what is like, where's the priority? Keith Grossman, same thing. Where's the priority? Is it here or is it there? And it's things like that, and putting the right people in place and building the right, team around it. So it takes a lot of growing, bro. Like
Yeah.
it takes a lot. It's a lot more. That's why I wrote that thread. People think it's just hosting on Twitter and tweeting left and right.
Right.
Like, dude, like it's managing teams, human capital, people. We have 15 people between part-time and full-time at Rug Radio, bro, now.
Wow.
From 5 in the top of the bear. So we've also grown the team to 10 with 30 creators, 30 shows, 40 creators growing. It's like it's a liquid engine now. Partners, sponsors, business, professional. Like there's so many ties now. So it's like all these things behind the scenes. Like this week for me was like I think the longest week of the year. And I'm actually closing with you because after this thing, I'm out. I'm
You're
gonna
done.
go. I'm
Let's
gonna
go.
go. Get my acupuncture done. Go do Shabbat at my girlfriend's family because they're Jewish, and the Hanukkah week they're closing it
Shabbat
up.
shalom.
Thank you. I mean, from my girlfriend, but no, and then I'm going to Christmas this week with my fam. But like, it was a week of like calls, work, interviews, It's just like it's nonstop.
part of hosting season 7 all about essentially creating content that's worth collecting. Web3 media, crypto native content creators is bringing people like you, Farokh, and reflecting on what it really means to build a Web3 enabled media company and then building a network of crypto native creators. I want to pick your brain more on that subject specifically, okay? I'm curious how you've seen crypto affect the way we consume and create content as a whole, because we're seeing people use NFTs, these token primitives, as a way to build, monetize, and co-own their audience, right? And this is something that we were never able to do in Web 2. And like you said, there's incentive alignment with bringing in the element of ownership, right? My bet is that every creator in some way, shape, or form is going to be crypto native in the next few years, right? Whether it be from the tickets that they sell to their concerts, that they have no idea what's happening underneath the hood, selling digital merch and all these digital experiences around it. What are some ways that you've seen best practices of how media companies have enabled the use of crypto and how creators have used crypto as a way to build, monetize, and own their audience?
I think it's like we're not yet like creating, like I don't think crypto has yet changed the way we consume content or the way we participate. It didn't change the way we consume content in the sense that we're still using Web2 platforms. And like I'm very well aware that Rug Video started off of like Twitter Spaces, now going out of all the different platforms. We're out literally everywhere now, and it's going to be even everywhere more now. But that's going to change with time because we're early. It's not a bad thing because we're so early, right? It's like we have all the lenses and the forecasters, all these different companies and brands that do the Web3 stuff. And so that's going to come. We're developing our own tech internally and we're doing a bunch of cool stuff. But but it has changed slowly and will change over long term what we get for participating within content or creating content or putting something out there. The added value of having a Rug Radio NFT is not that you get to consume different type of content. Our content is free. There's no token gating of content within how we're building, and that's not how I do it. Personally, I'm not a big fan of token gated content, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work for others. I was sitting down in Paris with Raul Pal, they have Real Vision. We had a conversation around that. And they do it pretty well. For them, it's like an add-on, maybe director's cut, all these different things. I like that, but hear me out. For us, the value is not like, I think content and access to it should be democratized and free, because can we talk about onboarding another 100 million people into crypto and NFTs and Web3 if we're not going to like give them the chance to give it them the content? We have to give them almost on a silver platter.
Mm-hmm.
But the added value of being part of the ecosystem is, well, you have the NFT, you get tokens yielded daily for being there. Well, now we launched a rewards program this week, actually last Friday, so exactly a week ago, but we really pushed this week. Some of our shows you can get Grok token for being a participant in it, for tweeting, for interacting with it, for coming in Discord, not just saying GM and what up, like actually like interacting with, being a part of, and you can do different things and claim different things in the reward store that we'll be building for the first quarter of next year. But it's the added on top of that, because Web3 doesn't kill Web2, and Web2 is not all bad. That's what a lot of people, there's a misconception. The way Web2 brands and companies and platforms were built are not incentivizing us enough as creators and participants, and it's wrong. The $1 trillion Meta valuation at some point, the $50 billion Twitter valuation, the clubhouses came because of you, me, and everybody else. Someone once shook me and was saying, "My clubhouse, why are you doing all this content? Why are you doing all this value? And I'm getting nothing out of it," because I didn't used to get nothing out of it. Dude, for most of my life, I've gotten nothing out of platforms I built on top of. I built a fucking business on Instagram out of myself. I had to build on the side, get clients, everything. Instagram never gave me something to create on the platform, but we all collectively added value to the network. But in this sense, in Web3, it changes everything, because in Web2, it's platform first, creator, and then consumer. And Web3 is just an everlasting circle, but starts with the participants. The consumer become participant. The creator is the educators, the most important people in the space, right? The most important people are the creators, or the educators, the people out there, entertainers. And then the network gets the value. But then, like I was saying earlier, so I think it really changes the way, not the way it's consumed, but the way, it elevates and enhances the experience of it. And I love the ticketing you're saying about the access. Like the best use case for NFTs, aside from like gaming, I love people love to talk about gaming, is media. It's access. It's ticketing. It's rewarding, right? Like people, you do your NFTs for the show. Maybe people buy it. You buy, like, this goes back also to helping you. Like, I mean, this stuff doesn't come free. The roadcaster, all this
Right.
camera stuff. Like,
Right.
like, and at scale, we have a lot of creators that we're trying to help. Like, it's definitely not free and not easy. So I think that's what it is. I think it's it allows that to layer on top of it, and we'll see where it goes next. But it definitely gives more power to the creator, and that's very important. And every platform right now is fighting for attention from creators. When Elon is tweeting about rewarding creators better than they've done at YouTube before, even now the jokes of Mr. Beast being CEO of Twitter and adding but these things, like, because they understand that it's either you adapt to that or die. But the problem is with big companies and large platforms, it's going to take them too long to adapt to like. So we're going to see at some point this new platform come out, and it's going to be it, and it's going to work out where like everyone can build on top of. That's what we've built, something that's platform agnostic, that we can tap on top of everything. That's a beautiful part of the Ethereum blockchain.
Right.
Legos.
So on that concept of media Legos, and there will be a platform, what's going to cause that platform to win? Like, what does that platform need to get right?
I mean, content is king, but
Right.
distribution is queen. I've been saying this for over 10 years now. And that's why I've always tried to master the business of distribution. And even at Rug Radio, if you'll see at some point, we'll become much more on the distribution level to help creators distribute their content, because they are the platforms, right? And they own their content, their IP. You don't want to like take that away from people in this space. It's the worst thing. And so I think the proper one is going to master distribution, and then everything I've been talking about, like the reward side, and like the incentive and everything, and also have all the good stuff. Like, we love Twitter for a reason. Like, there's something about Twitter. It's like the conversation. Now, if they manage to add video, photo, like, do it nicely, and then with, I don't know. I don't know yet exactly what it looked like, or else I'd be doing it. But
so that brings on another question, because that's you kind of alluding to that we should be building still for distribution and virality, maybe, versus building for like a select few, right? Like in crypto and Web3, as a creator, there's this notion that you can make money off a select few, right? And create the content that you love. If you find your pockets, your niche pockets, just do what you want to do, sell those NFTs, create content that's worth collecting, and you can make a living. But you're suggesting that actually it's a build towards better distribution, right? More virality, more eyeballs, or is it a mix of both, or how do you see it?
I I don't know yet. Like, I just love how Twitter works. But
Same.
always has its flaws. But it's just something about it. It's just like, if they manage to keep all the attention within one app. Like, I know in the other side of the world they have WeChat, that's like the everything app, right?
Right.
And it's working pretty well. Like, we don't have that on this side of the world yet. So when are we gonna get it? Like the super app that has all of the elements that people are looking for. You like, Clubhouse is the best live social audio platform. It's so fucking good, but I want it on Twitter. You feel me? I love Instagram. I'm an Instagram kid. Made me in a way. Still have millions of followers on there. I don't want to go on there. I want to do my stories on Instagram. I love Instagram stories. I'm a big Instagram stories guys. I post stories almost every day. I edit my own photos. I'm a big, like, I love photography, so I take my own. But like, point being, like, I wanted fleets. Like, it was on Twitter. Like, I just wish everything was one place. And there's gonna be the everything app next on this side of the world. It's for sure. Bro, WeChat's been there for whatever long. Like, over there, like, they have it already. Imagine the one that masters this with blockchain integration, Web3 integrations.
Right.
So it'll take time, but every 5 years, every few years, like, the last one that came out of nowhere, which blew everyone out of their seats, was
Rio.
TikTok. Well, but like before, I'm talking even before, like TikTok
Right.
and Snapchat before that, then
Right.
Instagram, like, it was like Vine, all these ones, and then there's gonna be that one that's gonna be like, that's gonna come out.
Right.
And it's gonna like dominate, in a way and take so much attention. So we'll see. That's what I'm sure Elon. I'm bullish on Elon's Twitter because I have a feeling that's the vision.
Just
Now we'll
bullish on
see.
Elon. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm one of those. But
Yeah.
you know, I think that's the vision. From what I've gathered, like I think that's the vision. And yeah, and then everyone can build their own little platforms and tap onto it. Like we're building our own platform. We've been working on it for months already, which is like a Web3 enabled platform that allows you to like, you know, get rewarded for consuming content, participating with content on said platform. But in a way, through the blockchain and through our dynamic NFTs, which is our membership passes, we can track better and curate better for you type of content you want, and also cater for POAPs, tokens, whatever it is, better experience for you, but also like reward system based on like who you listen to more. Like, oh, I listen to Adam Levy more into Austin. Or like, oh, no, it's the morning show more. So I know that. So all these metrics on chain, like I have a big vision for media. I think it's going to take us a few more years to get to where I'm trying to get. I think like maybe 2-3 years. We're a year in, so we're into year 2. But it's you know, I think this you know, content on chain, all these metrics on chain, curation, aggregating of content, like just I'm bullish on those kind of things. That's where my head's at for next year.
So let's talk about user generated content as an asset class for a minute. Okay. How do you think the value of tokenized content and just UGC in general compared to traditional assets like stocks or real estate? Do you think there's a market of competition, or do you think content in itself, tokenized content, will reach the market caps of industries like those? Any thoughts around that?
I'm not too sure on that part. Like, I don't know where it's gonna go, but like, I'm a big UGC guy, bro. Like, I studied Warby Parker when I was like, I'm a social media nerd and numbers nerd. Like, I like deep dive, like in my spare time into that stuff behind the scenes, and I just love it. Like, Warby Parker got like a, what, $2-3 billion valuation as the glasses with 56,000 pieces of user generated content. And that was their only marketing. There you go. But guess what? Like, they were pushing people that tweet, hashtag, like Instagram and all that stuff. And so I used to do like viral marketing and all that stuff for a long time. And it was a lot of it was UGC, and that we usually would like pay out like tons of micro influencers and influencers across the world, like up to 100 million followers worth, like across the book, and like have them like do content and whatnot. But at the end of the day, like UGC, like when all these companies are using these people to get $3 billion brands, like the people got nothing. Oh wow, they got a repost on the Warby Parker Instagram account. It's great, but like, and maybe some of them don't give a shit, like don't want anything. But for those who want and can get something, I think it's like incentivized. Like I love the Instagram platform, Twitter. I love the idea of like NFTs on Instagram, because what if I go to a brunch place and I take a bomb picture, which I do, and I post it on my feed, but it's on chain, which is dope. What if the restaurant one day just buys it as an NFT, $5, $10, $100, whatever it is,
They can use
to
it.
use it,
Yeah.
and to then market? Like it just enables so many things that people are not thinking about, which is cool, and it allows everyone. Now, not everything is to be a microtransaction or transactional or professional, but it's cool to have this provenance. It's cool to have like these, these data points and whatnot.
Your comment of like Warby Parker building this billion-dollar enterprise and then having the end user kind of like create their own free marketing around it, and then the comment of like they don't get anything for it. My devil's advocate mind comes in as like, did they need to get anything for it? Like the system works, right? Like they got the sunglasses that they love. Why do they need upside in co-ownership, right? Like,
oh, you're right.
I try to think too, Farokh, like this whole narrative of co-ownership, are we pulling that out of our ass because we're getting greedy and we see the value we're creating? And because not everybody realizes, and quite frankly, not everybody cares. Like people just want to use
Some
Instagram.
People don't give a shit. Yeah, it's fine.
So where does the market lie for people like that as a whole?
I don't know. I think some people will always just remain like the passive, like consumer that just doesn't care. Like a lot of gamers just want to play games. They don't give a fuck about NFTs. Like that's why they actually hate NFTs. We talk about this all the time. I was on the stage last night with Gary Layden, Jonah, Sobi, Bryson, and everything, talking on spaces about that. Like a lot of gamers like still like they don't care, right? They don't want to make money out of playing games. They want to play fucking video games. Like they love that stuff. It's their passion. And some people just want to consume content, like listen to the show, because they don't care about getting the rug token. They don't care about being part of it. But there's a lot of people who do. So I think if we put our focus towards them first, without shoving Web3 down people's throats and forcing them into it, I think that's how it works. I mean, it's almost like the Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, like all these platforms, like Ticketmaster gave out 10 million NFTs this year. That's what people don't talk about or mention a lot. But people don't know.
Right.
And people are not going to know. The adoption of media and NFTs in general on the blockchain is not going to be through like people necessarily knowing that they're getting an NFT, and I think that's also a major part of it.
So on that topic, then, how do we turn more consumers into collectors? Because every collector is a consumer, but not the other way around.
Yeah,
What do you
it's
think
hard
the strategy is for that?
by the value you manage to bring. So a lot of people listen to my show. That doesn't mean that they are holders, but a lot of people in the last couple of weeks have noticed through market sentiment on Twitter, it's like, oh, I've been listening to Farokh all this year because maybe they're reflecting on the year or whatnot, or I've seen Rug Radio a lot every year. Not just Farokh, there's 30 creators, so they have listened to that show, this show, matter, whatever, all this
Yeah.
stuff. Now I want to be part of it. So it's like the added value that's why as a founder in the space, you need to always focus. That's why it's very hard. You have to focus on the day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute sentiment on people online. You have to focus on building a company, which is this is another conversation for another hour, right? And then you have to focus on bringing value back, which I talked about earlier, which again, not monetary values on the premier value I'm talking about, bringing genuine value back to the ERC 721 that you sold and this community that you're talking about. And so that's very hard. And so if you managed to master at least two of them, you've been in a good place. And I think that's the added value. It's like this is how he turned consumers to participants is by giving them the proper value. Someone asked me the other day, I already have a Rugged Radio NFT. What's the added value of having two? Because I'm contemplating it, but right now it's a little more expensive. It's like, why would I want to? And my answer was, well, because you want more rug token because every NFT yields rug token, and also we have a PFP coming up and you get something else. So that's added value that they're going to be able to do with it. But with regards to access, one NFT is one NFT. You have one NFT or 300, you still have the same level of access to what we're building. So it's just like the little things. It's very intricate. It's tough. You have to really focus on. That's why I said, like, if you're thinking of doing this and you can't do it, can't take it, don't do it, because there's a lot that you're maneuvering with. You're 15, 20, 5 employees, 100 employees, you're 10,000 holders, millions of people on social media, like, you know?
Right. So on the subject of creating content, okay, do you think there's types of content that are more suitable to be tokenized versus others?
I mean, there's ways to tokenize almost every piece of content. Like your podcast, I
Anything
think you do
digital.
seasons. You do seasons, right?
Right.
So it's
Right.
1, 2 season. We don't really tokenize our content yet. We may do some stuff we're exploring, but like, we're thinking about things. And so
So by the way, that's a question right there. Why haven't you dived into tokenizing your content yet and making that collectible?
because in a way, like we already have our set of collectible assets that bring value back to you. So I want to find a way to do it without having to dilute or confuse the ecosystem. We have the membership pass already, which is the low hanging fruit. It's like $20, I think, 0.01 ETH. And that gives you access to the ecosystem, events. We do free merch. We do a bunch of cool stuff. We allow this.
Right.
We do so much. And the platform comes out, it's going to be a key to get in via Web3. So a rewards program. You can only access a rewards program if you have either Genesis Pass or Genesis NFT. The membership has Genesis NFT, right? And then we have the Rug Video NFT, which yields token, which is just a more premier asset that people pay 0.11 ETH for, and that's around 0.4-ish ETH right now on the floor. But that one yields token and does more. And so now if I start giving out NFTs for every single show, like I host every day, bro. Like my morning show, like with OSF and Mando, is how many episodes a year? It's like 5 days a week for 52 weeks. It's 260 episodes a year.
Crazy.
But maybe we'll do weeklies. Maybe we'll do monthlies. I like POAPs and stuff. But see, for us, it's going to be once like the platform's ready, you'll be able to reward people maybe in art and token and this and that. We also have our token. We have a rug token, an actual ERC20. And then there's another one that's the rug DAO token. So I already have a lot going on. You get the rug token. You can keep the rug token for utility, or you can swap 1,800 of it for a DAO token, which is governance. And everything, we actually run a rug read as a proper DAO. Like that when we put $1 million budget towards a DAO, I had to make a proposal to the DAO in the open. You can go find it on snapshot.org. Explain why I need the money, how, and I've been doing quarterly reports. Like we actually report how much we made, where we spent it, everything. So it's we already have a lot. So that's the Farokh answer to why I'm not doing it. But in general, for people, I think tokenizing content is cool. More of on the memory. Like we dropped a POAP on September 19th, 2021 when I came up with the idea of Rug Radio. And that's iconic now. We broke POAP. We actually broke POAP. POAP broke. Like for 5 hours, engineers had to get back to work and like get booted it back up again. It was crazy. But like we did POAP. So everybody who has the Rug Video POAP from that day, I'll find it for you, but knows that it was the moment of the conception of Rock Radio. So I was more of a fan for this stuff, like for like specific like moments, events, like collectibles. Like you do
Right.
seasons. I'm a big fan of that. I love that. I know
Right.
Austin talks about doing things like that all the time, and it's really cool. Like I'm a big fan. I think everyone should do something on chain. Like it's awesome. Like
Right.
I love showing my. I mean, I'm also like you. I'm probably a big nerd, so I love showing my NFTs. But like it's like I'm gonna find it for you immediately. But it's just something about it. Like it's I don't know. You know,
Look at that.
Rug
Rug
Radio
Radio. The
9
OG
19
co-op.
2021. Yeah,
Wow.
my Farokh rugs wallet, so everyone can see my rugs and everything I own with that. See, September, yeah, it's all there. Start date. It's so funny. You go to the details. You click on the contract address. You have a day and time of it. Like things like that. Like it's so fun. But what was your question? Sorry.
No, you're good. I'm glad I saw that because that's like memorabilia right there. That's a mementos. That's as OG as it gets, and
Like,
celebrating the origin. It's like
you know
it's
when people
crazy.
come up to me at events like, yo, I was one of the people that was there with the POAP. Imagine
Crazy.
in 10 years,
It's
given that
crazy.
we become very successful what we do as a network and with everyone. Imagine Rock Video genuinely becomes one of the biggest brands in space.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna have that and you're like, yo, like I was fucking there.
Yeah.
Like I was
And I
there
can
when
prove it. And I can
it
prove it.
was there on chain. Or like, you know what I mean? It's like things like that. It's like, I don't know. It's like
Yeah.
so sick, you know?
These are things you can't do with traditional media and
And you can't
in
even
Web
go
two.
back. You cannot go back. You can't put the chain, roll the chain back.
Right. Right.
You can't go back. You can't go back.
I'm curious, Farokh, how do you stay so motivated and focused on the work that you do as a creator running the company, especially in a time where everything is low, morale is low, engagement on Twitter is low. Um, how do you power through? What keeps you motivated?
I mean, honestly, like it's been the most successful part of us for us. Like this whole bear, like
That's what I like to hear.
it's been. I mean, I told you, like we got the stuff rolling, like sales, like we were doing like about 1,000 rugs moves hand per month on average. There's a lot of transfers, and been doing a lot of volume. We've been reading pretty well. Floor price, everything's up like 500%. New people, new entrants, new market participants, more shows. So I keep busy in this time. There's nothing else to do. Like I'm here. Like I just sit down here all day and I just do it. And then I just like, how do I stay motivated? Like I love it. Like I don't know what else I would be doing. It's not just a meme. I'm like I just really love it. Like I when you're aware, like I'm really like aware of what I have in my hands now and what we collectively have in our hands with my team, with everybody that's part of the ecosystem. Like we have really a beautiful brand in our hands, Rug Radio, and it has so much potential that's being shown already. And I genuinely think it's gonna be really big. So it's like I wake up, I'm like, let's fucking go. I'm giving my team off on Monday and stuff, but I'm gonna be here hosting my show, going, talking to people, like, doing things, like having fun. Like, yeah, I do the whole Christmas stuff. I love it. I'm a big
Right.
Christmas person. Like I do the holidays, the family, but like
But you
still,
also
like
love what you do.
it's so fun. Like it's come on, it's fun space. We're lucky. We're
You're
lucky
very
that we're not
lucky.
part of a different generation that had to go to war or this or that or like, dude, like we're born a dope like generation. Like this blockchain technology, the Satoshis of this world, the Vitaliks of this world, the people have brought this shit to us. Also, like the internet, like, dude, like we're so lucky. Like so. I don't have to wake up in the morning and change, go to this job I don't like, and this and that. Like, I genuinely like, but I also like had to do that, right? But I've been
Right.
entrepreneur since 17. It was my last job ever. I was like, fuck this shit, and I dropped out of law school at 21. But like, like it's like it's so fun, It's and so that's what motivates me every day. It's like I genuinely am passionate about like what we're building, like
My,
a lot.
my final question for you, Farokh, is for those who want to become crypto native content creators, they want to start media businesses that are Web3 enabled. Share some tips. How can somebody get started? What's like the first sort of few steps that you wish somebody would have told you before you got started with Rug Radio on your entire journey?
Honestly, it's a lot about like I spend a lot of time listening. That's why I ask the questions. I'm usually on the interviewer side. But I listen a lot. Like early on when I got started in the space, I asked a lot of questions. I still ask a lot of questions. Educate, 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 educate. Got to be curious, stay on it. And like, give, 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 give. Like I put people on every day. and people put me back on since the first day. I've had a lot of people put me on and help me. I've helped a lot of people. It's like you got to collaborate, cross pollinate, and just focus. Just like focus on your content and just elevate every day. Like, and it'll compound effect. Like, it's like people are like, oh yeah, this week we had Joe Lubin on the show, co-founder of Ethereum. Then next day we had Tim Ferriss, and then today we had another cool interview with like Bags. It was funny, different, it was funny. And then we have big guests, and it's not like, and like we go every day, we get all these listeners, reviews, and you see Rug Radio grow. But it's like none of this is like necessarily just luck. Like, you know, it's the compound effect of like I've been creating content for like 10, 12, 14 years. I don't even know at this stage. It's like, you know, it's like the added effects. It's just gotta, in this space, like it grows faster than any other space. So you have the one in a million chance, like really grow faster than anybody else. So, and you can decide to take it or not, but like there is a lot of chance and opportunity in the space. A lot. Like, especially for creators, like, you know, like I look for new creators all the time. We give people, new creators, opportunities all the time. I'm always out there trying to help work with other creators and distribute their content and collaborate with people. Like, you know, like come say what's up. Like people come through, like, you know, it's just like,
I love that.
yeah.
Yeah. Look, I admire your consistency. I admire your energy. You guys are killing it. Rug Radio. Shout out to Rug Radio. Shout out to everything that you guys are doing. Farokh, before I let you go, where can we find you? Where can we learn more?
Farokh on every platform. Like FAROKH, literally every single platform, but mostly Twitter. If you like want to see my Instagram stories, I mean they're pretty bomb, not gonna lie. But because I have some big like photos, but you know, in rug.fm, rug.fm for anything Rug Radio related, come to a Discord. Our Discord is a very well-oiled machine, a very proud of my team, incredible people. So our team is super fun, super nice, you know, kind. Community is like positive, like we've really nurtured that, right? They want to be part of the change, right? And so they're cool. So Rug Radio on Twitter, you know, rug.fm, Discord. So yeah, just come by, you know.
Thank you for being a part of season 7.
Thank you.
We'll have to do this again soon, but until next time.
Let's go.